Hi, happy Friday, everybody. How are you? It's Roz McCarthy here, and I'm so glad to have you guys here with me with Can I Talk with Roz. It's a good day. Hey, everybody. Plug in, plug in, plug in. I have the best guest in store for you guys today. I met this young lady at MJ Biz this past November in 2022. And let me tell you, sometimes you meet people and you're like, man, that's a great idea. You're like, man, that's dope. Great idea, but personable, but like just has this vision and this aura. And I'm so excited to have our guests. I love celebrating women in cannabis who are doing great things that are changing the game. And this woman is changing the game. So you don't want to hear from me. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about our guest today. Without further ado, let me welcome Elizabeth Becker with High BNB. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Hi, Roz. I'm great today. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. It's so good. I'm in Boston, so it's cold, it's snowing, my nose is running, but I'm so happy it's Friday. I love coming on doing CannaTalk on Fridays, and it's so good to have you and see your face here with me.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. That was a lovely introduction. I really appreciate it. I work so hard and I don't get a lot of feedback because I'm in the computer all the time. So really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, let me tell you, I remember our connection, and I have talked about you several times with people, and I've run into people who have they're like, yes, I love her concept. So I want to start and just first and foremost introduce yourself to everyone. Tell them who you are, where you're located, and what type of cannabis business do you have, and tell them a little bit about High BNB.
Well, hi everybody. My name's Elizabeth Becker. I am here in Toronto, Canada. Although I lived for some years in California and a number of years in Vancouver, Canada, and I've always been a cannabis advocate, a cannabis activist. I come from the film industry as a writer director. So having a voice and having something to say was the most important thing to me as a filmmaker. But my passion for cannabis became more activated when Canada legalized. I was so excited. Canada, the first big nation to legalize at the federal level. And I wanted to get involved somehow. And I wasn't exactly sure how to get involved. And everybody was excited about the legalization. But when it happened, all it did was allow people to purchase cannabis legally so that they could tax it. But no laws changed around consumption. It's like, okay, great. This is legal for recreational use. Where can I consume it recreationally? Nowhere. Who can I consume it with recreationally? Nowhere. What am I supposed to do? Go in my basement and smoke it? It's like, are you kidding? This is what legal is. And then on top of that, there was a lot of restrictions for the brands. Like as a writer director, I love promoting brands. I was a commercial director for a while. And so I just wanted to get behind some brands and commercialize cannabis. For me, I have this kind of fantasy around it because I want to consume commercialized ads for cannabis, right?
Right.
That didn't happen because of these limitations. And so I guess I got angry enough about it that I said, do you want to know what legal is? This is what legal is. And I had this kind of brain fart that happened all at once. And, I saw it. HiBNB is a booking platform similar to Airbnb, but it's for the cannabis community. So everything is cannabis. When you come onto our site, you have three options. You can play high, stay high, and get high. So that's my commercial part of myself, because I want to see the commercialization of the industry. So Stay High is accommodations. I built this so that the everyday person could get involved in the cannabis industry and make money in the cannabis industry, and that people who love cannabis can come together with other, with our tribe, with our culture, and enjoy each other's, connection. Because to me, that's what I value most, more than anything in the world, really, is getting high with people. Love it.
With people. Well, you know what? So let me stop you there for a second, because one thing about our industry and one thing about consumers and people that love the plant, you can come from any walk of life and literally cannabis will bring people together, right? And so I can imagine, as you're like, okay, we are now having the ability to consume legally, but we don't have any place to go where we're comfortable, that we don't feel like we're going to get harassed. I mean, I just think it's such a brilliant idea. Like it's just, there's no idea that is like, what do you say, like, that is like, that's totally original. It's the evolution of the idea, right? And it's the ability that you took Airbnb, and then for our industry and for the people and consumers of the plant, and said, you know what, let me give you something that's going to host you and that's going to support you. Because how many times do we see, Airbnb, no 420, no smoking, no, I mean, it's, and like it scares the bejesus out of you. So anyways, but I just love it.
Yeah, and it's not just the accommodations, it's the experiences. And I'm even more excited about the experiences than the accommodations. But yes, I love getting high with people who are also getting high with me, because I feel like I can put my defenses down. I can be whoever I want to be, and I'm always accepted. And there's this great closeness that I feel with other people in that environment. And so, yeah, I wanted to do social events where other people were high and I was high, and we could interact together.
I love it. I love it. So tell us a little bit your background prior to this immaculate idea. Were you in tech? I mean, because this is a SaaS, this is a tech platform. What did you do prior to like starting your company and breathing life into this idea?
I was a writer director in film, which is
Awesome.
technical to a certain degree. I never built any websites. I didn't know anything about, about digital marketing or building sites at all. So, but I did know how to write a script. I knew how to write a script, and I knew how to work with creative people and technical people to get that vision into the real world. And so that's what I was able to do. I wrote the blueprint for the website, and I worked with developers and designers to put it out in the world. And
Absolutely.
I think that vision and that statement, like I was talking about how, having a voice and saying something was the most important thing to me. It comes across really strongly with High BNB.
Yeah, it does come across, and we're going to show it to the world and let everybody see if you have not seen it or what have you. So when you are out here and you are sharing your vision, and can you walk us through? You talked about the three different type of, the platform, the ideas, conceptually of what it is. Where is the cross where it's similar to Airbnb, and where is it different in regards? Because I'm sure there's a lot of differences. So if I'm someone that I have, a house that I want to host or what have you, talk about some of those nuances that make it different and make it special to our industry.
What's challenging about the industry is that the legislation is different in every region.
Yes.
So it has to be customized depending on where we're going. But right out of the gate, when you come to the site, you can search based on where smoking is allowed, because the hosts, they either have smoking allowed outside the unit on private property, or inside the unit in a dedicated space like a balcony or a backyard or a porch that's part of the property, or inside anywhere. There aren't as many hosts that are offering consumption anywhere inside the unit. And then you also have the hosts that are providing accessories. So it was very important for me that when I built this site, that it was customized to the cannabis consumer, not just like another booking engine that has a concept around it. So you can search based on where you can smoke. You can search on what accessories might be provided. Originally, you can, and you still can do it. You can search based on what strain the host likes.
There we go.
These are different filters. And originally that was my vision, is that people can share their homegrown cannabis, because when you book my place, you're using the things inside my home that's private property, and you're welcome to use the salt in the counter. If there's cannabis there, you can use that. And so,
Use cannabis too, right?
yeah. And
But doesn't it make you, isn't it exciting that you have an opportunity to normalize the use of cannabis, right? In a way that's so, that we have adopted this whole kind of, fractional lodging. We've adopted like this new, like having experiences and being able, like people aren't going on vacation. They're going to enjoy experiences. And now you can normalize this for our industry and for consumers. I just think it's such a dope thing. And I got the website up. So I'm going to kind of like walk me through just like the play high, stay high, get high, read high. And let me just show folks what they can experience when they go through this site themselves.
Okay. All right. Well, probably the most visual way you could do it is through the carousels below. So if you scroll down.
Okay. Yes, I can.
This carousel, that is Play High.
Okay.
You can get there by Play High too, but these ones are featured. So if you open up any of these, like let's open up the Cross-Cultural Visionary Plant Retreat in Jamaica. That's a psychedelic retreat. Totally legal. I think there's 2 ceremonies. It's a 5-day all-inclusive retreat run by Steve D'Angelo.
Wow.
And then beside that, what do we have here? The elevated experience at Venice Oceanfront. These people have a rooftop patio, and they're offering cannabis and beverages so that you can go to Venice Beach and hang out and legally smoke and consume. They have a parking spot for you too. So basically, if somebody has anything to offer, they can post it here, and people can book it. So that's Play High. It ranges from experiences, classes like yoga classes, comedy classes, retreats, tours. And then here we've got the accommodations. So accommodations different places. So Villa Fonda, that's in Palm Springs. And I don't want to go too fast because there's really a lot in this website.
It is.
Here in Canada, the model that we're working on, because Play High is experiences and events, Stay High is accommodations, and Get High is advertising. And I really wanted to give an opportunity for producers and brands a chance to get extra promotion. And so in Canada, what we're doing is inviting brands to contribute to a welcome basket. And it's totally legal up here. So it means that if you book High BNB in Toronto, that's our proof of concept launch, you're going to get a welcome basket full of all sorts of different products with a value over $200. So very excited to.
Well, I will tell you right now, being a brand, raising my hand, that Black Buddha will definitely want to contribute and be a part of the Get High and I just love it. It's about cannabis community, it's cannabis products, it's dispensaries. So you are not only touching in regards to the lodging and the experience, but you're talking about being able maybe to introduce people to new products, maybe having where they can find their local dispensary close by. It sounds like it's a very holistic approach to how you are bringing this to the average consumer.
That's it, exactly. It was important for me that it has to be a win-win for everybody. It should be a win for the brands that they get extra promotion. It should be a win for the guests that they get free product or extra product, and a win for the hosts that they can charge a higher rate potentially and get more traffic in.
Absolutely. So as you see, you have Play High, Stay High. I see that you have cities like New York, Miami, San Francisco, Los Angeles. Is there, when you are deciding, or when you decided as you're building the platform out, and there's more folks that are coming on board that are looking to host, do you have certain metro areas that you look for, or it just depends on the ability to get folks that want to host consumers? How do you pick these, or how did you get these as those are the top cities that you were looking at, or it just kind of worked out that way?
Well, right now we're just growing organically. So I've gone on some Facebook groups of cannabis consumers, cannabis lovers, and also on some Airbnb groups, and let everybody know what we're doing. And so people have started to fall onto the site, which is great, but we haven't had we are investing for our seed round, and we're waiting for that time when the investment comes in, because we really need to focus and concentrate on certain city centers, so that we can get it working with the brands and the dispensaries all linked in, and have more of a volume of options
Sure.
for the guest, because right now we have about 300 listings across 8 countries, but we don't
Wow.
have the concentrated engagement in different areas.
Okay.
I am really excited that we've hit a nerve with a lot of people, especially in other countries, who are coming to us and saying, I love this. How can I develop cannabis tourism in my region? And I say, well, do you know of any farmers, cannabis farmers? Can you arrange a tour to the farm? Do you have a place where smoking is allowed? Um,
Right.
so I feel grateful and lucky that I've created this platform that can help support underdeveloped, or developing regions, and help bring the community together.
So let's go back a little bit. You said something super special. So for our audiences that's out here, we just had Jessica Lindsay mention. She goes, Michigan Cooper House will be a great partner. So even when you have someone that's a possible referral, but if you have someone that's a farmer, that's a hemp farm, that's an experience. People pay for that, right? I think we discount the fact that there's ways to touch this industry, and it doesn't have to be as an operator. It can be on the ancillary side, or create an experience for people that want to have something different and want to do it and consume and not feel like, and do it in a friendly environment. Correct?
Yeah, well, I think you're hitting on something that's really important, and that's, to me, the question: what is cannabis tourism? And it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
just having a place to smoke, but the cannabis community's values seem to be in culture, rich in culture. They don't want superficial experiences. Although some people might want to go to like a high-end place and just have a really comfortable experience, but it seems that the cannabis community, they want to travel, they like to go to remote places, they like to learn about the culture in places where they're going, and they want to try and sample the local product and learn about the local customs. So these are qualities of the cannabis community, and what we're finding on High BNB, the way that we're developing is what people want.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you're looking at your development, and let's say, for example, if someone does have, like, they want to be a host, what's that process in regards to? Is there somewhere on the website, if somebody wants to have their property or their home or create an experience and want to see if it? I'm sure there's some type of ways that you vet out those different experiences if it's going to make it on the platform.
Yes, there are buttons on the site, become a host, and you can follow those prompts. You can also find them down in the footer, add an
Let's see if we can.
accommodation or add
Yeah,
an event. And
let's see
so
if we can find it right quick. Let's see
yeah,
if we can. I'm gonna try it. All right, so let's go down to the footer. All right, so you said find
find an accommodation. Where's become a
or
host?
find an accommodation right here.
Oh my gosh, no, that's find one. Look, I was wrong. Can you
Okay.
scroll up a little bit? Scroll
Yeah.
up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Become a host is up on the top right there.
Oh, right here. Got it here. So host an event. Oh, so you can host an event as well. So if
Yeah.
there's an event that's happening, we can have that a part of the platform as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So all right, guys. So look, Elizabeth is giving you. This could be, Elizabeth, if we look at it now, because you know where we're hosting events right now on Eventbrite.
I
So
know.
this could be something very special.
I'm not very happy about it. Everybody's hosting on Eventbrite.
Okay. So let's talk. Okay, so let's talk about it, Elizabeth. Tell us why that is a bugaboo. Because I can tell you were like, I know. So talk about the fact that we can host and be able to put these events on your site and the rationale behind it.
Yeah, we are a competitor to Eventbrite, and we are cannabis positive. Eventbrite is not cannabis friendly. They are still kicking people off. I can't understand why and when they kick people off for using words like cannabis or consumption.
Yeah.
They're not doing it to everybody, but they are still doing it to some people, because those people are coming to us and saying, "Oh, we just got our listing pulled from Eventbrite."
Yeah.
So come to High BNB, because we don't. What's that called when you're not allowed to say the things that we do not censor what you have to say. You don't have to like infer things. You don't have to use code words. And these are values that are very important to me. Transparency about who we are. And remember when I said I got angry enough that I made that? It's because I don't want to have to sneak around. This is legal now, and so
guess
we're out
what?
of the closet.
And so the number one thing we have to understand is that this is her platform, that she can set the rules of engagement of what you can do on your platform, like any other platform. But they choose to give cannabis like the snub in the face, like, we want your money, but we don't want you to tell us what you do, right? And it sucks. So all right, so number one, you can host an event on High BNB. And then the other piece where it says become a host, it says host an accommodation. So there, it looks like there's some type of form that they submit information via that form.
Yeah, and upload the photos. And then
Okay.
it comes to me and I reach out to the hosts and talk to them to make sure that they're not fraudulent, and make sure that they're meeting the criteria that our guests want. And we take it from there.
Absolutely fantastic. So I saw someone mention about Weed Maps and some of these other different platforms. So do you see some of these like a Leafly or a Weed Maps? Are they also, you would consider your competitor, or is there opportunities for cooperation?
I was reaching out to Weed Maps because I wanted to work with them together. I offered them a deal. Just put a little button on Weed Maps that says, book an accommodation, and we'll pay them out royalties, and they can help drive traffic to us. They see us as a competitor, which
Really?
I take it as a compliment.
Well, let me tell you something. I think it's fantastic. I know with InfraMM and also with I want us, because I think what you're doing and what you've created is giving it gives us protection, it gives us security, it allows us to be free in this plant and love this plant like we all do, and other people that are not in the industry that just want to go somewhere or have an experience. So I think it's fantastic. And so I know I definitely want to be able to figure out how do we broadcast you on InfraMM and make sure folks know about the service. So as a business right now, and we are in our industry where it's so hard to get funding and investors, talk about right now the building capacity and where you are. And the first thing that I think what struck me was you knew your business. I love the concept, and you was like, and I'm looking for investors, and it was like no holds bar. This is where I am, and I thought it was so gutsy and so like in your face. I'm like, that exactly, that's what we need. So talk about that, where you are right now.
Well, so my background as a filmmaker, I want to have a voice. I want to share something with other people. So adding value to people's lives. As I was saying, I didn't realize that in creating this company, it meant that I have to be a full-time fundraiser. That's what CEOs do, right? And
That's what
so
we do.
it's not my area of expertise. I don't come from capital markets, and I don't have a degree in economics. So it is a little intimidating that I'm, new in that world, and is what that needs to be my number one thing right now. So it's a little frustrating for me that not only am I growing and building the business, but I'm also raising at a time that's really difficult because the bottom fell out of the cannabis markets.
It did.
All the cannabis investors are really burned, and exhausted. The funds are exhausted, and then on top of that, we're going through this recession. So it's a challenging time. We started High BNB. I started building with the developers. I signed the contract 1 month before the pandemic hit in February 2020.
Are
So
you serious?
it's definitely been challenging.
Yeah.
If the pandemic didn't hit, we would be in a totally different place. But we've had to
Yeah.
evolve the way that we've had to evolve. That said, on a shoestring budget, we've built a lot, and we've
It
gone
is.
very far. We're in 8 countries, and there's nobody else on the market. Like there's nobody else in the cannabis tourism space that has an international brand. We're
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
then and I noticed that you have HiBNB.us, and I think I saw a HiBNB Mexico.mx or something like that. So are you planning to create these domains that are very specific to countries, or that was just for those 2 countries?
Yeah, we actually have 4 domains that are active right now.
Okay.
HiBNB.life is the master, and when you're in the US, that will default to .us. If the user is in Canada, it defaults to .ca. We just are developing .mx, and that will be a Spanish language site. We
Mm.
are working out a partnership with some Mexican partners who have a good footprint in Latin America. We're also talking to some people in South Africa about a .za site. So that's how we will expand. Basically, is I have the one master umbrella, which is .life, and then that will default to each region, because the legislation is different in every region, and the person has to agree to the terms and conditions of use. So I've learned a lot, not only about coding and programming, but also about contracts and legalities. I've grown so much in this process as an entrepreneur. It's been exhilarating. For the first, it's now going on, I guess, 3.5 years. And for most of those 3.5 years, I've been like jumping out of bed in the morning saying, I can't wait. Like, I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do that. And it's made me peel back layers of myself, because it's really humbling.
It's humbling. You know what? I look at it because we're in the same vein. I started out building a nonprofit in the advocacy, and then I did a pivot, and I was like, I'm building this. Now I'm here, but now I'm going to start a brand new company that's a brand. I don't know what I was thinking about, but I tell you, it is the most rewarding. Like, I wake up in the morning and my brain gets going. Like I've never worked as hard in my life, but it's the most rewarding time for me. I don't know if you feel the same way, because it's just, you can see, it's like your baby. You just see it kind of growing right before your eyes, right?
Yeah. On a good day.
On a good day. On a good day. On a bad day, we're just like, what the hell am I doing? I don't know.
Oh gosh, the highs and lows are rough.
The highs and lows of it. All right, so are you bullish on globally what we're seeing from a normalizing cannabis, and how do you feel like about the U.S. role in help? I personally believe the U.S. could, if we were to do more federally, it would also affect the global market and the adoption of cannabis legally more so. What's your thoughts on that?
I would absolutely. As soon as the U.S. Legalizes at the federal level, then basically that's exactly what you said. The rest of the world will fall in. Yeah. But that said, the rest of the world is falling in piece by piece. Germany is regulating. They're in the midst of transformation. I think Czech Republic just announced it. Mexico's there. Thailand's there.
Colombia.
South Africa is really excited. It's just moving slowly. Like, there's been a lot of regions that have said, okay, we are legalizing cannabis. Right now we're decriminalizing it so anybody can consume, but you can't buy it. It's illegal to buy or sell, but you can consume. So there's a lot of countries that are in some gray area. But
I mean, the same thing. But let me tell you something, sister. The same thing here in the States, because we had the state of Georgia at one point in time say you can legally, as a patient, have it. However, we're not going to allow you to buy it or cultivate it in the state of Georgia. So, and then you're thinking, well, if I go outside the state and carry it over the state line, then I'm going to jail for trafficking. So there are some obtuse regulatory legislation out there that across the board that make it so difficult. It's almost like this kind of like passive aggressive, like, yeah, we want you, but no, we don't want you. It really sucks.
Yeah. I spoke to the Canadian government. I said, you guys only did half the job. You made it legal to buy, but how are we supposed to consume?
Right.
And if you're traveling, where do you consume if you can't consume outside or in any public spot? And what I've learned is that it was on purpose. They did this on purpose, because you can always add more, give more room to consumption and public consumption, but you can't take it away. So for the first step to get their toe wet, they decided to legalize the sale.
Yeah.
And I guess in many regions, for the first step, they're deciding to decriminalize.
Right.
They're okay with that, because there's such a stigma around the world. I think Japan was furious with Canada. There were a lot of countries that was very, very, upset with Canada for doing what we did. And so I think that politically, it's not easy for countries to make these changes. And decriminalizing is one step there. And I think it's going to be a long process.
I do. But you're in it for the long haul, right? Because your site is so beautiful. It's so inviting. it's such I don't know if I don't know if that's a good word, being a feminist, or it's just it's such a it's a site. It's great globally for anyone, man, woman, non-binary, but it has this, like, it was so inviting as a woman. I get tired of things that are so hard edged, and I want something that speaks to me, and speaks to me like my experience and what matters to me, and the look and the feel and the ease of being able to float in and out of the different different segments on the site. It's very, very easy and very, very lovely.
Thank
And
you, Rod.
I can tell that you are someone that I had a good friend who was a showrunner, and she also used to write treatments for reality shows and other different shows or whatever. And you have to kind of lay out what you want, you like, as a producer and as a director and directing film. And I can see it so much in what you've done. You should be so proud of yourself.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, but I can't take all of the credit. I feel like I'm lucky that there have been people who have come on to the team who have shared and given so much. Like, a lot of people, the first thing that they do when they come across High BNB, or, and in this development, they say, I love this. How can I help?
Yeah.
How can I be a part? How can I help? So I call it lightning in a bottle. This is bigger than me. High BNB is bigger than me. There's been things that have come together that people have brought on, their talent, their relationships, that have made it bigger than what I can do on my own. And so for me, that is like, I'm a spiritual person. I know that we're on the right track because there's something else that is pushing this forward. And when I first started, and even now, I like to get high and run or do yoga or meditate, and I get to channel a higher, I don't know if it's a consciousness or a higher intelligence, or whether it's part of myself, or whether it has to do with a plant. But I feel like I've been able to channel something in High BNB, and it resonates with other people.
That's awesome. Well, you see, it resonated with me. So I am a big believer, a big supporter. I'm going to figure out how I can get involved more. Definitely from introducing it to my members with M4MM, having Black Buddha be a part of it. I think it's just super special. So if you have some people out here, if they're listening to you right now and they're interested, or if you have some high net worth individuals that want to come and be a part of High BNB on a financial, and really believe in the efficacy of this business, listen, this is not a startup. This is not conceptual. She has proof of concept. It is there. It is functioning. Tell them, Elizabeth, how do people get in contact with you?
Just send me an email, hi@hibnb.us. hi@hibnb.us.
Let's see if we got it right over here. Let me see.
Yeah, or click any button on the website that says contact us. It comes right to me.
Okay, good. So we're at HiBNBUS.us. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I can't let you go without asking you, what's one of your, like, you're in the film business, or you were, or what have you. Give us one of your favorite films. Well, like, what's one of your favorite movies that you still to this day watch, that is one that either makes you cry, makes you laugh, or it's just like, you just love?
Well, I like black comedy. I like Danny DeVito and some of the movies that he directed, like Matilda is funny, or gosh, he produced Pulp Fiction. I pitched Danny DeVito. I wrote this black comedy, and I got it through his agent, and I met him in his dining room and tried to pitch him on producing my film. And that's about as far as it got. But yeah, I don't know if there's a film that I watch over and over, but I just really, really like dark comedy. Yeah. There was a film called The Young Poisoner's Handbook. I don't know if anybody knows. It's a tiny little film. And I fell in love with that film because in the first half of it, the main character is a victim. His stepmother is like torturing him mentally, and you hate her, and you feel like you want to support him. And then he starts poisoning her. And you realize part of the way through that, wait a second, here I am cheering on this guy, but this is wrong. And so I always love the fact that the protagonist who you identify with, and then you have to make an internal shift, is like, wait a second, he's not the hero anymore. You're rooting him on, right? You want him to kill her at first, and then you feel badly.
I watched a film. I went to the movies about 2 weeks ago with my son because we love going to the movies. Like when during the pandemic, when you couldn't go to the movies, I thought I was gonna die. Like I'm like, I want to go to the movies. So that is always my pastime where I walk away from everything. I recently went to see a movie. I guess it's supposed to be a horror movie, but it has this dark comedy, kind of like thriller, kind of diabolical. It's called The Menu, and it's with Ralph Fiennes and John Leguizamo does like a bit of a dark comedy in there. It was so good and it left my mouth open. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you just can't believe some of the things that are happening. And so that's like my new movie that I just saw recently that I'm like in love with. And then for myself, a movie that I watch over and over again, don't ask me why, is Shawshank Redemption. That is my, I love Morgan Freeman as an actor, but that movie for some reason, the triumph and the highs and the lows that he goes through, and still being able to look over that and believe in yourself and believe in enough, knowing that I'm going to figure out how to get past this and get out of this, and then being able, that last beach scene where his friend meets him on the beach, and it's like almost like the culmination of, I trusted you, I knew you could do it. And I mean, I don't know. I watch it over and over again, so it's one of my favorites. So, but I always love to find out from my guests, what do you like? What's in your DVD or what are you recording that you keep, or something that you like? Because you just never know. We could have the same thing, right? Or I may learn something new that I can go watch.
Yeah, that's a great movie, Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, it is a great movie.
Yeah.
Well, Elizabeth, I'm so happy to have you on today. You guys, CannaTalk with Roz, I tell you, try to bring the best of the best. And you know what? Women in cannabis are changing the game. And I want you to know, remember, when High BNB is a multi-billion-dollar company and no one knew about it, and everybody's talking about it, because cannabis is going to be an industry that's going to grow and grow and grow, in my opinion. And you go, I remember when I saw the lady who's the CEO. Remember, you saw her on CannaTalk with Roz, because I'm telling you right now, I see it. I believe in you. I pour nothing but great energy towards you. You're going to be fantastic. And I'm just so lucky to have you in my sphere. And let's do some great work together. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Hey guys, James Canty, I see you. Mariella, I see you. You guys, I need you to make sure you stay plugged in to CannaTalk with Roz every Friday, 1:00 Eastern Standard Time. We got some great things that are going to come down the pipe in a couple of weeks. And then Black History Month is coming. I got Black Excellence in Cannabis. We're going to be highlighting some phenomenal people. Do not go anywhere. Stay connected with me. Make sure you are plugged in on YouTube. Type in CannaTalk with Roz, and you will get a ping every time we go live. Elizabeth, take care. Have a great one, sweetie. We'll talk soon.
Weekend. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Jessica Lindsay, I see you, girl. So good to see you. Hi, everybody. Listen, Jason Marshall, thank you. And I'm in Boston, guys. If you're in Boston, come see me tonight. I am going to be on the panel with Martin Luther King III, so I'm super excited about it. Come see me in Boston if you can get out, but if not, make sure you come see me next Friday, 1:00 Eastern. I'll be here, you here, and we're going to have a great time. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. Make sure you're following me. This show is brought to you by Black Buddha Cannabis. Follow Black Buddha Cannabis on all the social media outlets. You name it, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just type in Black Buddha Cannabis. LinkedIn, you name it, we're there. Make sure you follow me. Give me some love. I need some love. We're excited. We are in Massachusetts and then going to be headed towards Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Nevada. So stay close to me. And you guys have a fantastic day. I'll talk soon.